All right, welcome on in back to the Herd Sportsbook. Of course, UFC 277, yet another huge pay-per-view coming up this weekend. That, of course, me and Rob, we got to cover front to back, give you our locks of the night, our underdogs of the night, all that good stuff, and then help you become just a little bit richer at the end of the weekend. So, yeah, of course, that's what we're here to do. Another amazing pay-per-view on tap with the women's bantamweight title up for grabs once again, and this really very highly anticipated rematch between this season's the Ultimate Fighters coaches, talking tough plug, shameless talking tough plug, of course, if you haven't seen already. But of course, the rematch between Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes, as anticipated as it gets, and these two obviously in the tough season as well will reassure that, and you could actually you could probably take a lot from just the Ultimate Fighter, and then really put the pieces together in a way to how this fight might come, what mental state both these fighters are. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I feel like in the media, at least, with MMA right now, you could see the people who did watch Tough and the people who didn't watch Tough, by the way that they're trying to analyze their mentalities coming into the fight, because you could tell that some of them have some of it's left out, and you're like, that guy didn't watch it, he doesn't know. He didn't do his homework. But there's definitely a factor to that. I feel like there's added pressure, and there's definitely added motivation. When you're looking at the person you're fighting, you got to deal with them. There was some moments where they were talking shit to each other, makes you want to beat them more, and they were getting a little chippy at the press conference, but I was kind of expecting that. But it was the stuff you'd expect, because Amanda, I don't know, the mentality with Amanda, though, it's weird. I feel like she definitely wants the title back badly, but I don't know how she's assessing that first fight, because it seems like she's coming in. I'm not saying she's making excuses. I think the things that she was saying about her training camp situation with Kayla Harrison, and all the drama at ATT, and her knee injury, COVID, those are all real things, but it seems like she's chalking that up as the sole reason why she lost. And we can't forget that she did great in the first round, but Juliana, it wasn't just a fluke that Juliana beat her, and I feel like she still thinks that it is. And whether she wins or loses or not, I still think that's a problem.
Well, that's the thing, and because she thinks it was a fluke, she just underwent. Which is weird, because if you think it's a fluke, then because Amanda Nunes has honestly undergone a lot of change since that fight.
She's in a whole new training camp.
Yeah,
her own gym.
Exactly, which is we talked about before. Even on the Ultimate Fighter season, you can see it. Obviously it's dwelling on her mind, and that's fine and all. But obviously when you're almost as untouchable as it gets with Amanda Nunes, and then you just lose, you don't just it really takes a different kind of person to really just put that to the side, never think about it, and then really just move forward. So I get it, but
yeah, she was saying to Mark Raymond, I think it was Mark Raymond on ESPN, that the pressure too was getting to her, because if you remember before that first fight, it got canceled for, I think it was supposed to be in October or September, one of those months, and it got canceled, and it kept getting pushed back, and Juliana kept getting louder with the shit talk, and Amanda said she felt like she was good enough to beat her even on that so she seems like she's self-aware of what was going wrong going to the fight. But the thing that bothers me still is that she just doesn't seem to be able to accept that Juliana might have just been better than her on the night, and that there are flaws there.
My question is it comes a case of does Amanda Nunes want to just did she want to beat Juliana Pena, just take it to her, hurt her, or does she want to win the title and just do whatever it takes that way? No matter what the outcome is, as long as she's the champion again, that's all that matters. That's kind of what I'm wondering, is honestly swaying a lot into how, I'm dictating this fight, how betting and whatnot, how I'm gonna play it in that sense.
The game plan of Nunes is really the talking point to me, because stylistically, I just think that Amanda Nunes is the better fighter, obviously, all around. Yeah. She's great on the feet, great at jiu-jitsu, black belt, as good as you can get. Very good top control, she could put her weight in the right places. But I feel if she were to take a steady pace and just try to beat Juliana over the course of the 5 rounds, she could do it because she'd be conserving her cardio. But I feel like she still wants to create a point. And, like, she keeps saying, like, too, during, like, the press conferences and, like, all the media days and shit like that, like, she wants to, like, she's going to be looking for that finishing shot and, like, but just a lot more, like, precise about it. But, like, she still just thinks that she's going to hit her once and she's going to go away. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, if there's anything that Juliana Pena's proved, like, throughout her whole career is that she can take a punch and keep coming. I mean, she just did it at the highest level against Amanda Nunes in her last fight. And, like, I don't know, like, it just seems like she's discrediting her, like, to still, like, to get finished by her like that and to still think you're just going to knock her out, no problem. Like, it makes me think that she's just going to try and walk her down, which I think is going to lead to the same pretty much outcome as the first fight. I think she's going to just start off well, and then Pena's going to take over as it goes on. But the thing is, if she has a good game plan and she actually just tries to kickbox with her and pick her apart and commit to defending takedowns, I think Amanda wins it. But I just feel like she's not going to do that. I feel like she doesn't think that Juliana's a threat, and that's going to make her well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think that she doesn't think she's a threat, but, like, I think that she's discrediting the first win a little bit because of the training camp and all that. And I think that she still thinks that Juliana's not that, like, not better than her, pretty much. I feel like she hasn't accepted that that's even possible, which is kind of a bad place to be. And Juliana's coming in with the confidence. Like, she wants to go on UFC Fight Pass or ESPN Plus and watch herself beat Amanda Nunes. She can. Amanda Nunes can't do that. Like, there's a lot of pressure coming in for the Lioness in this one. Like, that's why it's very interesting to me. Because I don't really know what she does from here. I mean, she has 145 if she loses, but, like, that division is, like, not really even. Juliana Pena was talking some shit about it on the press conference. I thought that was funny. Like, because Amanda was like, yeah, you know, either way I want to go up and defend my 145-pound title. And, like, Juliana's like, yeah, like, there's nobody in that division. Like, because they asked Juliana, like, do you want to go up and get that belt? She's like, it's a made-up division. She's like, there's nobody there. Like, she runs, like, it's a castle with no people in it. Like, yeah. It's so dumb. I think that division's a waste. I mean, they originally brought it in for Cyborg. They brought no meaningful competition in. Then Amanda Nunes beat Cyborg, which is crazy. And then now she has no... Well, Felicia Spencer was good. I feel like Felicia Spencer is like a really good fighter, but she just ran into the GOAT at 145. But I don't know. That division's kind of a waste.
Yeah, man. I mean, clearly, like, if you haven't gotten the hint already, like, you know, here's a fight that you hedge. If you're going to play it at all, you hedge. You know, you pick, like, who you favor someone, obviously, and then just hedge it. Because this Juliana Pena money line is, like, very, you know, promising, you know, at plus 225. I'm not going to say, like, it's just wrong or something like that, but...
If you think of it, like, objectively, like, the person who finished the other person by rear naked choke in round 2 is still the underdog by a decent margin. And, like, if you're thinking about it, just not without the names, just objectively from, like, a betting standpoint, that person is, like, a decent enough underdog to make money on. Like,
seriously,
I don't know. Like, and to think that in, you know, the actual terms of the fight that Juliana has a pretty good chance, that's a bet that I would be willing to take. That's for sure.
You know, it's gonna show on, you know, it's gonna show Saturday, obviously, but I really, like, I'm just really not too far of the run for me to say that Juliana Pena is a better fighter right now. Like, I mean, I could be proven wrong, obviously, real quick. It was just so wild to say how Nunes is still the GOAT, undisputably, like you said yourself, but
yeah, just
right now, like, I don't know, these two I just think are just going in, like, very, like, opposite directions. So
I'm intrigued. This is a big fight for Amanda. Like, if there was a lot of pressure the first time, and you could argue that there's even more pressure this time, because the first time, if you remember too, that was when Kayla Harrison was a free agent. She was in the crowd. Everybody was talking about possibly Nunes versus Harrison, and she went in and lost. Like, and that ruined everything.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to be happening after this fight?
Well, this one taken before it, another title fight, of course, could honestly be a lot closer, but for like many different ways. Like, you know, I think I really do. You know, I see either Amanda Nunes, you know, by TKO knockout, obviously, or this is just going the distance. You know, probably in favor of Juliana, but someone to win. In all 5 rounds, that's how I think that's gonna go. This one, I think it goes so many different avenues.
That's what makes it a fun main event. Never know what's gonna happen in this one.
This is one of my more like anticipated fights of the year between, of course, Brandon Moreno, flyweight champion, Kai Kara France, not the flyweight, former flyweight champion, and then Kai Kara France, the just ever so possibly a future flyweight champion, but he's got to get through this very tall task, of course, and just see. I don't know. I might have already met this someone already prefaced like a few times already before and whatnot, but you got James Krause in your corner and whatnot.
Yeah, that's a recent change too. And like usually, and I was thinking this too at the main event. Like usually leaving like a team is a bad thing, but I feel like for Amanda Nunes and Brandon Moreno, I don't think it was a bad decision. Like. Because especially Brandon Moreno, like, leaving his camp was a questionable move, but then going to James Krause's camp, that's a built-in advantage. Like, I love that even, like, aside from the fighters, we get the coaching match of Krause versus City Kickboxing, like, Eugene Behrman and all them. Like, that's truly just something to really, like, marvel in a championship fight.
That's like one of the main things is what just draws me so much to this fight. Just these gyms these two are coming out of, and obviously what we've already seen from the both of them. Oh, man. Even, like, I think this could be closer to a pick'em, but I have no objections with the minus 210 on Brandon Moreno. Yeah. I like that quite a bit, actually.
That's fair. I mean, he did win the first fight, too.
Yeah, but we have mentioned him before, and we, mentioned, it's not something you want to find yourself getting comfortable with doing, but obviously tournaments you can get as wild as you want to get first place and make sure you're not splitting a lineup with somebody, and obviously you win the grand prize all to yourself. This fight you can just stack, just play both these guys. That's how you hedge in a DFS lineup. You just play both fighters from a fight, and then you just matter the outcome. You hope it goes hope it's an absolute freaking just barn burner. Which
this one's anything like the first fight, it will be.
It's where the grappling. Because this is very much expected to be on the feet, I would think, whatnot. If you get into a grappling match, I mean, that's what makes Brandon Moreno the favorite for me. The favorite is that he has that over Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France will be looking for that. He's gonna be looking either to set it up or he's just gonna find the spot and he's gonna land the shot and try to put Moreno out. But I really do. Brandon Moreno gets him in any sort of grappling situation. I think he can just dominate Kai Kara France all over the cage, and
I think he's I think he's a little bigger too.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Like he definitely has a weight advantage over him because Kai Kara France is a pretty small guy.
And back to James, James Krause just has such a strategy of just how to beat someone, how to just pick somebody apart.
Good training partners there too. I think he's got
Brandon Moreno. Someone as technical as Brandon Moreno, this is going to be an absolute... Yeah, this is going to be an amazing fight. This is great. This should easily be the main event. The fact it's the co-main event just goes to tell you how, stacked this card is. But, man...
I think, I look at the first fight and, this is really, what the deal is for me in this one. With Kai Kara France, he's very good, in the first round at staying disciplined and picking people apart from range, and if you watch their first fight, that's exactly what he did. And then in the second and third round, he gets pushed into a brawl, and that's when he starts swinging and getting hit more. Yeah. And that's when Brandon Moreno is going to turn up the pace, and I just feel like that's what's going to happen in this fight, just over 5 rounds instead of 3.
The cardio goes. Yeah,
I don't even think it's the cardio; it's just the game plan goes out the window.
Okay.
Because he just starts to brawl and he gets into it. And, maybe the fact that it's a championship fight, well, technically, interim title, whatever. But
that's why I got caught up before. Damn, it's an interim title fight.
I mean, we've had stupider interim title fights than this one. I mean, the champ is injured. He's not going to be fighting until the fall, which isn't that far away. Yeah. But it's all right. It's whatever. Because they want that 4th fight with Moreno, I think. That's kind of what they want. Or fresh blood in Kai Kara France. Especially considering that the number 1 contender is on the card and not fighting in this fight. which is mind-boggling. But yeah, we'll get to that one. But I do love this fight regardless. Like it's either like even despite what I'm saying, like these two guys still deserve it. Like they're merited. Like they've been fighting. It's not like they haven't been. Like I hate when like a contender who hasn't been fighting gets elevated over someone who has been. Like unless they're exciting. But I'm happy with this title fight. But the thing is, for me, I just think that this is going to be the same as the first fight. And not because like they haven't evolved. It's just because I think they've both gotten so much better. But the same flaws are still going to be there. Like, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a more high-level version of what we saw the first time. Like, Kai might start off well early, might even drop Moreno. I don't see him finishing him because Moreno's got such crazy heart. And I think that as the fight goes on, I said maybe cardio wasn't going to be a factor before. I mean, I kind of said that just because it's flyweight, so I don't even really think about it. But Kai Kara-France hasn't, I don't think, done 5 rounds. So that's something to note. Brandon Moreno's done it many times. So I think that's an advantage, obviously, for the former champion there. I don't know. I think like a lot of the little things point to Brandon Moreno in this fight, and I think that might propel him.
Definitely. I don't necessarily think you're going to be able to say the same thing about, as far as like the little things go, like, this one is going to be like decisive. Well, probably in, hopefully the first round, but
probably
maybe the second round. We'll see.
If there's any bet you want to take because it's almost sure money, not going to go the distance.
No.
One way or another. It's not going to go the distance.
Exactly. Like someone's going to sleep in this one between Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey Pavlovich, who I was actually, I
like that he's getting this fight.
Yeah, no, I do too. And I was about to say, like, I was surprised to see he was, as of right now, he's sitting as the favorite, but I'm really not. I think that if this makes sense, and it's very close too. Like Derek Lewis is like a very close underdog, and I mean, just. Because Derek Lewis, like, he's on this, like, we know the deal with Derek Lewis now. Like, he could just come off, like, just fighting off very lethargic, like, just not, like, he's going to start off all fury and whatnot, but, like, he gets tired. Like, he's a heavyweight, and he's going to get tired.
But he's smarter about it now, though. He does pace himself more. Like, he'll stand and wait and try to counter. But then, like, there'll be, like, a moment every 2 minutes where he flurries.
It'll seem like he just lets he'll have his opponent on the ropes seemingly, and then he'll let them back into it.
It does happen at times. I mean, it's also, too, because he's got, like, some of the craziest power. But I don't know. In this fight, it's interesting, like, because I always have a tough time picking Derek Lewis fights because stylistically there's so many people who should beat him, but then they don't because they just get hit. But, like, and this is another one of those fights.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's like, because Derek Lewis does struggle against people who have Sergey's style. He's going to take you down. He's going to beat you up, try to submit you, hold you down. But the thing with Derek Lewis is, which is funny as hell, like, I think of, like, his fights with Travis Brown, Roy Nelson, like, he just gets up. Like, it's like he'll be inside control on the bottom, full mount on the bottom, and he just gets up. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's not jiu-jitsu what he's doing. He just, like, puts his weight to his feet. And, like, it's really a matter of if can he do that in this fight, because he's going to have to. Like, I think he's going to be taken down. I think that's not a question. He's got good takedown defense. The thing is, Sergey's got to watch out for those uppercuts and those knees. I feel like he knows that, unless he fights scared, which I feel like most of the guys from Russia don't. So, like, I feel like that's...
So is it a matter of ground and pound for Pavlovich, or... Cause on the feet, like, I don't love his chances on the feet.
The only thing I think that he has going for him really on the feet is that he's tough for one. So I think he like, there's not many people who could take a shot from Derek Lewis. I think he's one of them.
I think he'd be able to definitely trade with him.
Yeah, but I think he's slower. Exactly. I think but he is longer. He does have a much longer reach.
The power is more in Derek Lewis's hands than his.
But I just feel like if he can keep it at the distance, and Derek, you know how Derek fights, like, he has, like, the looping punches, unless he gets cracked with one, obviously, he should be out of range of them. and then hopefully he can use Derek Lewis being out of position to either land shots or change levels and like catch him off guard and get the takedown then. And he's just got to be able to hold Derek down. Like that's why I feel like if you're with Derek Lewis on the ground, you got to soften him up with the ground and pound before, because a lot of these guys, they just try to submit him. And then when they try and do that, Derek just gets up. Like, but if you can like beat him up, like DC beat him up a little bit. And then he tried to take his back, and that's how he got it. Like, all the guys who beat Derek Lewis on the ground, they beat him up first. And, like, I think that Sergey Pavlovich is very capable of doing that. And that honestly, like, you know, I'll say my pick. That's why I think he's going to win. I think he's going to be able to take Derek down. Not maybe at will, but I think he's going to be able to do it before getting cracked. And I think when he's on the ground, he's going to be able to keep him there and finish him with either ground and pound or ground and pound leading to a submission.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those fights, like, you know, you just... The underdog, like, why wouldn't you just, you know, get the plus money on the underdog and then, you know, obviously hope he wins and then just cash out that way? That's what you get with Derek Lewis here. Obviously, unless this changes throughout tomorrow and then we're recording this on Thursday, so tomorrow and then the day of the fight. Because it definitely can, and it's really close right now already, so...
Yeah, and even, like, with him being the underdog, like, you know, all these things that I just, like, said that, like, Sergey has the advantage in, all gets nulled if Derek Lewis lands one good shot.
Yeah,
like, which
seriously.
is that's why this is a close fight, even despite like all the
and even like Derek Lewis, you know, coming in at 8K, he's obviously being the underdog. He's going to be the cheaper fighter in this fight. Like, you know, I kind of like, you know, I just wanted, you kind of just go with that variance and just go with the Derek Lewis. You fall into a Derek Lewis knockout rather than, you know,
especially if he's cheaper on fantasy.
Exactly, yeah. So. I like this to just chug along here. I mean, because I just have one question. It's like, where has Alex Perez been? Like, what's he been up to?
Dude, he had like a bunch of fights booked. I think he had like Matt Schnell booked like 3 times. I remember it because I always had notes for it, ready to predict it, and then it would always get canceled like during fight week. And I'm like, are these guys gonna fight or not?
Well, there's always just. Not always, but there's just fights that are just simply just obviously not meant to happen. Like
that was one of them.
Like one of the biggest one of all, freaking Nurmagomedov, Tony Farisian. But
sound like Stephen A. Smith with that one. Nurmagomedov.
I can't even believe I just said that myself. But there you go.
It's when people say it like that, it's not even like against you, because I know you're not a casual, but like. When people say it like that, it's just the first thought that comes to my head. Like, 'cause you know what's the funniest part is like, even casuals call him Habib. Like, they don't call him, like, he thinks that we call him Nurmagomedov. And see, now you're helping him think that. No,
you're right now. It's Habib, Stephen. Just say that.
We won't get mad.
But yeah, no, like there's just simply just fights that are just not meant to happen. That's just one of them right there. Dude, Alex Perez, Matt Shaw. I mean, I guess that that's what he's been up to. You know, getting ready for a fight that he's booked for, and then just doesn't end up happening. But this one is, you know, we can't. I guess it can't be too short, but this one should end up happening. And I mean. It's just Pantoja.
What?
No, mind. I thought I saw something. Egregious at first.
Okay.
I thought I saw something very egregious
at first. I
was looking off, but no, yeah. Alexander Pantoja here -195. I think he's one of my favorites on the card, and because I see this as an underdog card, which are just simply the best cards. But
there's a few good ones on this one.
Pantoja, I think, is just a sure favorite here. Nothing crazy. I just think a nice decision victory is in order if he can just keep the distance on Alex Perez and whatnot.
I think he could submit him. I think there's a good chance.
I want to look at what his submission prob is, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's a good
plus 300.
That's Pantoja.
That's Pantoja.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a good bet, because the thing with like Alex Perez is like he's got insane.
I don't think Pantoja even wants this to go the distance. I think like he should be looking for that submission.
Well, he should be fighting in the interim title fight, but like now he has to make a statement, which is crazy considering I think he had a rear naked choke finish like a few months ago. So. He should have made the statement back then. I don't understand like why the UFC is going with well, I do
this
understand why they're going with Kai and Brandon Moreno, but like, in my opinion, Pantoja is the number one contender. He should have been getting the title fight even when Moreno was champion because he beat Moreno twice. I think we talked about it.
I mean, you could argue this is something similar to like Benil Dariush, Makhachev.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
right there. You could argue that's similar to that.
Yeah,
but,
Kai's very marketable too. Like Pantoja doesn't really talk shit.
Exactly. Kai's he's just got that. What is to say? He's super exciting and he's a damn good fighter.
It was right before this, so I know you probably like didn't get to see it yet. But in the press conference, there was a good moment where one of the reporters asked Kai and Brandon about what Pantoja had said about saying that his two sons were fighting in the co-main event. And Kai Kara-France said, well, it's whatever. He's fighting on our prelims. I was like, damn. That was honestly probably the best moment of the press conference. Julian Pena looked pretty good, too.
And that just reassured even more with us. And, like, not only just... we really should be looking for that finish. In which case, like, you get him at the favorite that he is and whatnot. I think it's a pretty comfortable price tag as well. 8,700 on DraftKings. And yeah, I like
Pantoja. He grabs the neck. Like, he's good at attacking the neck. And I think that, like, if Perez gets in the clinch and he makes any mistake, which he does make from time to time, as we saw in, like, even the Figueiredo fight. But I think against Pantoja, he's another one who's going to make him pay if he makes one mistake. And I think 3 rounds with a guy who's that good, like Pantoja is, that's a tough thing to do. Like, I don't think Perez is going to be able to get him out of there. Yeah. I think it's going to be the other way around. Pantoja, probably by submission. That's a good bet, though, plus 300. So anybody who thinks that's going to happen, there you go.
So, yeah, this is our first, like, just dominant spot for the favorite. Just a huge number on him. Expected to just win with ease, of course, our first one on the card. But it's one that I just, because some with these fights, like, it's so crazy of a number that it's like, there's just, you clearly, like, if you're betting on the underdog, that's just money that you don't have any use for and you just want to see what happens.
See, but this one is not that case. Like, that's not the case in this one, in my opinion.
No,
like, as good as Ankalaev is.
I don't think it is either. It's
that's a little disrespectful to the Lionheart, man.
It really is.
What are we doing? Like, we forget how good this guy is.
Yeah, like, Magomed Ankalaev is a minus 540 to.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, that's just.
I think he's like the second biggest favorite on the card.
That's the kind of things you see for, like, just
like
regional
Habib.
Guys coming in and fighting, like, to some sort of degree, like an established fighter. Like, that's a wild, spread right there. And I could see, I could see it getting smaller, but I really don't see it changing that much. It's like,
I feel like still like a lot of experts think
simply
that.
like Anthony Smith, I don't see as a dart throw kind of play because obviously you're an underdog like this much, you're a dart throw one way or the other. Like,
even if you don't deserve to be called that.
You're $6,800 on DraftKings. Like,
it's classified as a dart throw. $6,800.
You're just a filler guy. Like, hey, like, hopefully, like, just get me what you need to just do what you need to do. Pay off this price tag, and then we're good. But Anthony Smith could, like, really pay out, like, nicely, truly, and that's just Anthony Smith. Just, if he can, depict Magomed Ankalaev's, weakness and whatnot, him where he's not trying to get hit and whatnot.
You gotta make it a dogfight.
Exactly, you gotta make it uncomfortable on him. You gotta put the pressure onto him, and I think Magomed Ankalaev could do very well under that still. But
see, like, the thing with people like Magomed Ankalaev, like, I'm not saying in any way that, like, they're, like, on the same level of striking, but, like, Ankalaev, like, has a similar striking style like Adesanya in the sense that, like, he's trying to pick you apart from a distance. And, like, I think that the way to beat someone like that isn't by trying to do that chess match with them. It's trying to beat them by, like look at Adesanya and think of who had the best chance to beat him. It was Kelvin Gastelum. And how did he fight in that fight? He came at him. He didn't give him that respect. He tried to make it into a dogfight. And I think that Anthony Smith can do that against someone as good as Ankalaev. And I don't know if it's going to get him the win, but I think he could definitely make it look ugly. I think he could land a lot of front kicks up the middle. I think he could make it ugly off his back for Ankalaev if Ankalaev ends up on top. I think if Ankalaev's smart, he'll try and pick him apart on the feet, walk him down so he can't really, he kind of stifle him. You know what I mean? I think that's should be his game plan at winning. But I don't really know what he's thinking coming into this because he wants to make a statement and jump the line and get a title shot. And Anthony Smith definitely does too. So I don't know. I think Smith isn't going to let him breathe. That's for sure. I think we might get a good one in this one. But
yeah, man. That's really not just because we've already rattled off the numbers and whatnot. That's what it is. That's how DraftKings sees it, and that's just simply all to it. Moving to FanDuel actually, they think they have Magomed Ankalaev as an even bigger favorite at -620. So yeah, that's just
I don't know. That's disrespectful, man. Anthony Smith is a good fight. I get that his belief, we've definitely been on board that hype train for a minute, Magomed Ankalaev, but to completely discredit Anthony Smith, can't do that ever. Just too good. Too good.
That's something. But we'll see how that changes and whatnot throughout. But and then we just get right back to the hundreds as far as the odd numbers go for each fighter.
Yeah.
Plus 135 underdog Alex Moreno, -155 favorite Matthew Semmelsberger. Because honestly, at first I didn't see really all the hype around Semmelsberger. I was watching and whatnot, and it just wasn't too. I don't know. I wasn't all that enthralled about him, but the more and more I looked into it, especially this fight, as far as this one goes, I'm actually pretty big on Matthew Semmelsberger here.
Yeah, this is a nice one. This is a nice fight.
No, it's a really good fight for him, honestly. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, honestly. I think you could see a lot of just volume in this one, and then just a really hot, just fast paced.
Both of them are very game,
exactly.
And they're both smart too. They both have high fight IQ, which I think could lead to a pretty good technical brawl. I think Moreno is so aggressive, and
that's the thing with Semmelsberger. What just makes him one of these guys. He is the real deal. It is that IQ factor and knowing where to pick your spots and all of that, and just how to break someone down.
Power too, and that right hand, crazy power. That right hand, I think in the UFC, when he first got there, he had 2 straight knockouts that were 15 seconds. Which is kind of crazy if you think about how hard that is. But
with each passing fight, I'm becoming more and more just more into the Semmelsberger hype because
Semi the Jedi. I like that nickname too. That's one of my favorites. It's creative. It's better than the Destroyer or stupid things like that.
Yeah,
but
and then even because. As far as because there's no shortage of options here. It's a pay-per-view. It's a big pay-per-view. You're gonna have all kinds of fighters in different price ranges and whatnot. But you have Semmelsberger right smack dab in the middle of that mid-range tier, 8,600. For a favorite, obviously too, in a fight that could just see a lot of volume being and just a lot of DFS scoring that you want. Why not go ride with Semmelsberger, So, the power in that right hand, if he can land that, Moreno was probably not responding.
Yeah. At first coming in, I thought Moreno had, a really good chance at winning this, but,
that's what
I still do, but, I think that Moreno's aggressive-ness is going to play against him, and I think that he does throw a lot of leg kicks.
I talked myself down a little bit. I was looking at him, Moreno, he doesn't look that bad. part of it does have to do, he's really not that big of a favorite whatsoever. And it's not it's not like the main event, Pena Nunes situation. You got the champion as a plus 2 something. Okay. Why wouldn't you at least hedge that? That's a very loud.
Yeah. What the hell? Damn.
Yeah, well, no, I just more and more I think Semmelsberger. I wouldn't even say necessarily has more paths to win. I just think he's the better fight and a really good fight for him. And
I just think Moreno's going to have a hard time taking him down if it gets to that. And I think at that point he's going to be trying to take out his legs. Then which he's probably going to eat a straight right down the pipe and fall asleep because that's happened. I mean. Moreno's really good, but he has been knocked out a couple of times, and so it is possible, you know what I mean, to shut his lights out. And I think that Semmelsberger has such good power, and he knows how to use it and channel it. He's got good cardio. I think that he's he's rising through the ranks, and it's like very quietly. So it's interesting. Like, I'm curious to see where he goes from here if he wins this fight, because he definitely deserves to be kind of thrust into the spotlight a little more.
Well, I mean, this next one, I'm probably going to be seen as, like, crazy for this one, either by you or a viewer or whatnot, but, I mean, I want to preface it by saying this is not trying to talk down with Drew Dober whatsoever and call it fluke or whatnot, anything like that. No, by any means, it's not what I'm trying to do. But I do feel like there are just certain guys that are, like, just due to just lose in finishing fashion. I see Drew Dober as one of them. And I just, as far as Rafael Alves has to go, it's one of it's a thing. I don't think the public's going to be on Alves as much as they probably should. But I just simply, as long as Rafael Alves can pick his spots, whatnot, I think I don't have too much, I think he can just land more and maybe just finish it, Drew Dober that way. But and it's not even like Rafael Alves is a pretty slight favorite. Drew Dober is the -170 favorite. Alves is the +145 underdog. It's just one of those underdog picks where it's just like, hey, he's the underdog. Like, if he's the underdog in this fight, like, we're in a fight that I still do like the favorite. I'm just gonna ride more with the underdog. And so, but I don't know. I just feel like because Drew Dober's on one. I mean, he like truly like does, and he's one of the more expensive fighters on the card as well. And it's just as far as like from a betting perspective, like, I don't think Drew Dober is all that. You're just not. I don't think you're gonna get that much bang for your buck.
He definitely shouldn't be like super expensive. I disagree though. I think he's gonna win. I think that they have like very similar like experience, which is kind of crazy. Like, their records are like almost identical, but I think Alves on the feet, I don't think there's anything there for Drew Dober to like worry about, honestly. I think it's more on the ground. But even then, like, I feel like Drew Dober, like, people give him like a bad rap on the ground because of the Islam Makhachev fight. I'm like, there aren't many people in that division that are out grappling Islam Makhachev. Like, he's a good grappler. Like, he's got good takedown defense. He trains at Elevation, which is one of the best camps in all the sport. Like, he's got great wrestling training partners. I just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's any real way he can get, like, beat unless it's by, like, a slick submission, which I just don't see happening. I think on the feet, I think he's a lot better than people give. Because people, like, he gets into dogfights sometimes. Like, he's kind of like Kai Kara France in that sense. Like, he kind of, like, he's good at, like, sticking to the game plan, like, in the beginning of the fight, but then sometimes he'll get drawn in. But this one, I feel like he'll be able to, like, really tone it in and get this one. I feel like he's got this one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
he's got great takedown defense. That's my thing.
Yeah, man. And Drew Dober's been, like, he's been around. Like, he's been here for a minute now. He's fought some dudes.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I like him a lot.
I mean, I do, and I do like, actually, like, like Alves, just period, like, as an up-and-coming name in the division. I think this is a nice little potential stepping stone for him, and I think he can get Drew Dober out of there with striking and whatnot, but yeah, I just at least with Drew Dober, it's not a wild number as the favorite. I think, like, if something,
and it shouldn't be just because of his fighting style. You know what I mean?
Like, if we were talking like Ankalaev, Anthony Smith type stuff.
We might have to have a different conversation there.
That would have been just. Yeah,
this is going to be a good fight regardless of who wins. So, like, I understand the odds being, like, what they are.
Yeah, I do like it. And, I mean, this next one, because I'm really curious to hear what you think about, at least one of the dudes in this fight. Like, because I have been seeing, like, quite a bit of hype around the man, the -190 favorite here in this fight against Hamdi Abdul Wahab. I hope I said that right. I think I did a pretty good job. But.
Yeah, I feel like that one, like, is good with the way it's spelt. I think is the way it's probably pronounced.
Yeah, but we'll go with Hamdi when we mentioned his name. But Dontel Mays, I'm just curious. I'm curious to know because I've people are pretty high. People are pretty high on this guy, and I've seen that, and I've also seen...
Which one are we talking about?
Dontel Mays.
Okay.
And I've also seen people that are not as much, like, there's just not as much power in the hands as one might think, and,
See, I am high on him, but I'm also high on the other guy. and I'm more high on the other guy. Even though like
that's fair.
He's undefeated, like albeit I think it's like 5-0, but he I've heard a bit about this man's fights and like his career and like seen a little bit now, and he's got insane wrestling credentials. I'm pretty sure he like has like Olympic credentials, but I'm not 100% certain on that, so don't hold me to it. But high level nonetheless. And his striking like pressure is unbelievable. Like he's not just gonna walk him down. He's going to like literally jog him down. Like Dontel Mays is gonna be fighting off the back foot whether he likes it or not, and he's just gotta hope that he can keep up. But the thing is, like, I feel like since Hamdi is so good like at wrestling, he's like think about it like from Mays' perspective. His camp, they hear that he's an Olympic caliber wrestler. They're preparing for wrestling. They're not preparing for the crazy onslaught that he's about to get hit with.
Yeah.
And like, I'm pretty sure there was like a fight. I was listening to Dan Hardy talk about this. There was like a fight that he got DQ'd from because he was like, I think he dropped the guy and then he was kind of like covering up and he just kept punching him in the back of the head. Like he just goes ape shit when he fights. Like he does, like this dude is a fighter in every sense of that word. Like he's not coming just to like point out a decision. He's coming to beat you and to hurt you. And I just feel like that Mays, like as good as he is, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with that. I'm not like, I think he's going to be good, but this might be a learning experience.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's something he needs, honestly, because like I said, I'm intrigued to see how he comes in this fight. And even if he loses, like, you know, there's still things that can be sold on. But I mean, and especially in this one, like, you know, he's a pretty clear favorite, and you know, it's just another just solid underdog spot. Like
he does have the Mays, and I'm talking about. He does have the like big size advantage, though. That's like to be noted.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like size matters when you're using your reach, but like when you're fighting a guy who literally is just gonna like come at you no matter what, he's gonna get get under your jabs, just be in your face at all times, not letting you breathe. Like that's a tough thing to deal with, especially at like a heavier weight class. This is an interesting fight to me because at first, like I said, I'm high on Dontel Mays. I think he's really good, but the more and more I learn about this other guy, I'm like, this might be something like that we haven't heard of that might be worth noting. I don't know. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is this last fight we're gonna really touch on before we start wrapping it up and then get into our official lock, and especially official because if you haven't noticed already, like this is an underdog card. Like there are plenty, like there's all these underdogs we talked about, like they're underdogs for a reason. Yeah, like it's not we're gonna say like it's just wrong, like they shouldn't be the underdog, but it's the numbers that are just one way or the other, like maybe a little exploitable, and just for you guys, I mean for like obviously the Uncle Live Anthony Smith, which we talked in depth about, like that was just nuts. But there's I feel how you feel about Hamdi is how I feel about Rafa Garcia here against Jakar Close, the -210 Jakar Close, +180 Rafa Garcia, the underdog. And yeah, it's just honest more of the same. I'm just Jakar Close is just weird, man. Like Jakar
had a rough past couple of years, honestly. Like
he really has, and it's like
not even really his own fault. Like that whole Jeremy Stevens thing, like
it's
does. I honestly,
question starts.
I kind of want to talk about the Jeremy Stevens thing though, because I'm curious to see what you think about this. Like, I feel like that was just so poorly handled. Like, nothing really came of it. Like, no consequences whatsoever. I mean, Jeremy Stevens isn't in the UFC anymore.
Yeah, it really wasn't taken as seriously as it probably should have been.
Yeah, like Jakar Close talks about like
the whole
neck
fight,
injuries because of it.
The whole fight the whole fight got called off because of it, and he's still dealing with problems.
Yeah, and it's almost like the UFC couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like
they
look at it like,
oh, don't push each other in the face.
Exactly. Yeah, all you did was,
don't do it or nothing will happen. Like who? Okay.
All you did was get shoved. Like, come on, like that's how they look at it. It's like
but it's like that.
It's wrong.
It's stupid though because these face-offs are at the weigh-ins at the time, so they're already sucked down way below their natural weight, and Jakar Close does cut a lot of weight, and he wasn't expecting it. It's like being sucker punched. But not the same obviously, but it's still a whiplash effect. and he still has problems from it to this day. So I don't know. I just felt like that was worth noting because my pick in this fight is Drakkar Klose just because I think he's really talented. Like, he's so good just all around. Like I said, he just seems to have like a couple bad breaks. Like, even against Beneil Dariush, who right now is one of the best in the world, he was winning that fight. Like, he almost, like, the only reason why he really lost it is because he got crazy with it. And I think he's learned from that.
Garcia is also stepping into this fight because he wasn't even originally Klose's opponent.
That also makes it does make it tougher for Drakkar Klose, but Rafa Garcia has like a pretty predictable fight style, so I feel like it'll be easy to prepare for. But because how
I guess I don't feel as much as you. I don't feel as much as you do with Hamdi as with Garcia. As I'm saying, that's not to that really extent, but the post 180 like it works. Like, I definitely think it's worth throwing someone on. It's just it's one of the better underdogs, and that's saying something on such a stacked underdog slate. So
if Klose doesn't like really just like try to hold him down, because I think he's probably stronger than him. I think if he doesn't like try to hold him up against the cage, take him down, hold him down on the feet, I think Klose is still better, but I think it would be more competitive. I think it'll be a war if that's the case. And like if it does go that way, I think that's when like I think that's when Rafa Garcia is like really a live dog. Like if they get into standing and training.
Yeah.
But this is a good card. I mean, like, it's a sneaky one because there aren't as many big names on there, but there's some good fighters, interesting matchups on it. The early prelims, I will admit, I did not know many people. Like, I was gonna say something before this, like, to you. I was like, if you're gonna ask me about it, I'm gonna have to like plead the fifth. I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
So
man.
I'm gonna just learn with the rest of the fans out there.
For me, it was just kind of the first fight. The curtain jerker, Orion, Koski, and Blood Diamond. It was just more just like I think Koski is. I think honestly Koski could be a larger favorite, and I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I've heard of Blood Diamond, but
it's just
I don't know
what
what
I've seen from Blood Diamond in the one fight he's had, and then just everything leading up to now. Like he's not. I don't. He's just not because like. I don't know what it is, but I mean, he does like have a bit of hype around him and whatnot. I think the UFC like does want to like mold him into something, but
it's a cool name. It's a cool nickname.
Yeah, I mean, especially because he just has no power in the hands. But we'll see. But that was really it. So that of course we just lead us in right to the locks and the underdogs of the night, which
what should we start with?
Because we'll start with the lock because
it's been an underdog card, so you're right. So I feel like it's a good way.
It's not
good way to end it.
You don't get these very often. So like the lock kind of relatively comes harder actually. Julian, I can't go with a man. Nunes as a lock. I just can't go with Brandon Moreno as a lock. Like just a lot of these main card names like are just really hard to like really be, super like confident about as a lock. But the one that does stand out above all, like the guy that you just mentioned should be arguably be in this interim flyweight title fight, Alexandre Pantoja -195.
That's a good lock of the night. I will say that.
Top favorites of the card. And he's just so much so that I'm just gonna ride with him as the lock of the night.
I like that pick. I was thinking about him too. I was thinking about Moreno, but the one that I end up with, like, I'm gonna get some friction on this one, I know, but Drew Dover. That's my lock of the night. That's why I was defending him because I was like, I think that he's gonna win. I really do.
That just made my underdog like super. I guess not super, but much like come a lot more easier than it probably would have if you had said someone otherwise.
Perfect transition.
Rafael Alves.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to be wrong, right? Unless it's a draw. But I get no contest.
145 underdog of the night.
Damn. Okay, that makes it interesting though.
I have to go for now. I was talking him up as much as I was in the breakdown. You just
I like Dover.
What's already the super just so many good under. I could have went with so many like multiple other names like. I gotta just be. I'm just gonna ride with it and just be confident. That's what it is. At the end of the day, they're all underdogs. Like you have to have that some sort of.
It's a risk.
Exactly. It's a risk. At the end, there's gonna be risk at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel weird calling my underdog a risk, considering that the first fight between them went the way that it did, but I have Juliana Pena. Like I said to myself, there's a bunch of good underdogs on this card, but considering I do think that Juliana Pena is going to win, and she is an underdog, like how could I not pick the main event as the underdog of the underdog of the night? Like I feel like she's gonna pull off the upset, which is crazy to even think about. It's an upset.
And I mean, I think I honestly did, like if it was like, you know, because we talked so many of these fights that are, you know, minus and plus 100s. Like if this was in the 100s, like I would honestly like tell you to pick someone else.
No,
like,
I probably would have.
The fact, like,
it's just she's such an egregious underdog.
She's
I'm like
wide underdog.
Like I get that Amanda Nunes is like one of the best fighters like of all time, like male or female, and I think she still does have the skills to really beat Juliana bad. But like, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's the mental thing. I feel like Juliana's mentality is a lot better, and like I said, even throughout Tough, like Juliana was so much more relaxed. You could tell she's just focused on herself and her things, what she's got going. Amanda Nunes, you could tell that the belt is in her head. Like, she's like, I got to get that belt back. I got to get that belt back. Like, hey, I'm going to get that belt back, right? Like, she kept, like, prodding her almost, like, during the season. And, like, Juliana just went right off her shoulder. So I'm like, Juliana's confident coming in. I hope she's not overconfident, because if she is, then she might get fucked up. But
dude,
I don't think that's going to be the case.
She already freaking cracked the code in the last fight. Like,
I mean,
she can do it again.
I even said it, like I said, like I would never say I predicted it. I would only say that I hinted at like what could happen with Juliana. Like if there is a way that Juliana could win, she has the style to beat Amanda Nunes. But I didn't think that she'd be able to do it. Now that I've seen her do it, I'm a little bit more keen to pick her, especially seeing what I'm seeing with Amanda's mentality compared to Juliana's. Because Juliana, I think, really still wants to prove that she's better than Amanda, and I think that she's still hungry. And Amanda, while I think she's hungry, I think that she still thinks that she's the better fighter by far, which is not, like, skill-wise is not crazy, but considering reality and the fact that she got finished in their last fight, you kind of have to accept some accountability, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens Saturday night, as Max Holloway kept saying a month ago.
There you have it. Rafael Alves. And then, yeah, you were...
Mine was Pena, Juliana Pena. And then my lock was Dover. That's what made that underdog interesting. So we'll see what happens
Alexandra Pantoja, Drew Dover, your locks of the night, Rafael Alves, and...
Want to do a $5 bet on the Drew Dover fight?
Yeah, we have, especially after the last fight we did this on, and
why not,
taking
right?
the L, like, yeah, man,
I feel like sometimes it's meant to be. Like,
it sure is. This is the one.
If we're picking against each other like this, might as well make a wager out. That's the whole point of the show.
It's a fun one. In which, like, get crazy with the guys, your lineups, your bets. Don't get too crazy. Obviously, like we're not trying to just completely throw the money out the window, but man, there are so many possibilities and paths to winning a bunch of money this weekend, and just this card period. This is one for the Just Bleed fans.
That's very true.
But yeah, man, this is gonna be a great one. Of course.
Should we announce what we're doing pretty soon? Because, I mean, if we're not going to have pods because of it pretty soon, I feel like we might.
Yeah, this is something,
so,
for sure.
I guess
it's going,
quick announcement for you guys on the channel. So, we, obviously, you guys know Shane Miles. We've had him on twice now for interviews. He is fighting for the 145-pound title in his amateur MMA promotion, and we are going to be covering that fight week, doing a documentary for you guys for a new series that we're going to be starting called The Finishing Touch. It's going to hopefully be something that builds as this channel goes on, and we're going to be trying to just showcase what fighters do fight week and what the mentality is like, and just what those final preparations, the finishing touch, if you will, of training camp. And, we're going to cover fight week, a little bit of weight cutting, the weigh-in, and obviously fight night itself. And I think it'll be fun. I think Shane's going to put on a show for us. I think it'll be a great way to kick this series off.
Awesome stuff. Well, yeah, we hope you guys are just as ready for that as we are. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to come out really well. So
we're probably going to be cutting the pods, like, on this one, because we do want to, like, make this as good as possible. So I'll probably, like, announce, and I'm sure, like, I'll probably just tell you to put it on the Twitter. So, like, we'll figure out, like, exactly what the upcoming schedule will be, and we'll announce it on like social media, and we'll probably say it on the next pod anyway, because we'll still do one obviously after this card. We got it. It's a pay-per-view. So yeah, I mean, we'll get as much information out to you guys as soon as we have it. So
thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you soon.